right, hello, and welcome to a very special episode of Ben and Curt Till It Hurts. I'm Ben.
And I'm Curt.
And this week, it is episode number 50.
Episode 50.
Very special for us.
Yeah.
Very special for you.
I should have made you a certificate of participation. I hate that I think of that stuff as this is happening.
Oh, man. Yeah. I wish that I had done something as well. But, hey, here we are. This week, we have some superlatives to go through.
Just a reflective episode.
Yep, we're going to be talking about the biggest drag.
Yep.
Most contentious.
Ooh.
Favorite and least favorite episodes. These are our personal opinions. I'm sure you have your own.
Funny thing about that.
And we'll be talking about best discovery that we've made through the podcast. Yeah. And then we'll be debuting something that we've been threatening to unleash upon the world for a long time now, the tight shit list.
Finally. We're finally ready.
Curtis, I'm a little bit uncomfortable with the use of profanity in the name of the tight shit list.
Okay.
So maybe I can suggest some alternate titles.
Yeah, please do.
The tight poop list.
That's a contender.
The good stuff list.
Good stuff list, okay.
Fave things.
No. That's veto that one.
That's a notepad document that I keep. Before we get any farther, though,
yep.
Curtis, do you have an apology to make?
I do have an apology to make. Today is Wednesday. That is the day we record. I woke up this morning to a text message from one of our listeners saying, how come there's no podcast this week? To which I had to say, I forgot to put it up. And I think I have uploaded podcasts late multiple times. But I honestly think this is the first time in 3 years of podcasting that I completely forgot to upload an episode.
Just didn't do it.
And it could not have been a worse week to forget because, as you now know, because you've now heard the episode, we wanted to reach out to the listeners to have them share with us their favorite superlatives from the Ben and Curt Till It Hurts show, their favorite and least favorite Ben and Curt moments. Any input, it would have been a great episode. Now it's in the trash. This is just going to be the worst episode now. So now you'll just have to listen to us and our opinions and not get to have your voice heard. Yep. But I will say I am very sorry, and please feel free to message us when you know how to get a hold of us, and tell us some of your favorite and least favorite moments. Whether you think our opinions are stupid about our superlatives.
We'll talk about them next week.
Yeah, any general thoughts, just send it in, and we'll read it next week.
Curtis, I think I speak for the entire audience when I say you are forgiven.
Thank you. Thanks, audience. I know Ben speaks for you. And thank you, Ben.
I am the voice of the audience.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm kind of the impartial observer of this podcast.
Sure.
All right, what have you been up to, other than forgetting to upload podcasts?
I have been working a lot, which is what I attribute the podcast thing to. I experienced my first catastrophic failure on the food truck this weekend.
Oof.
So,
how bad was it?
Catastrophic.
Yeah, the food truck exploded.
So, I'll tell you real quick. We had an event away from where we usually park on Saturday, so we went to that event, and we got back very late at night, and we had to park the food truck so we could do our regular thing the next day. So the way the things were positioned, it took a really long time to get the truck wedged into its little spot. Mm-hmm. It took us 45 minutes of spotting and backing a pickup truck with a food truck stuck behind it. Wow. Back and forth.
That's pretty fun.
So
Team
after
building.
45 minutes, the owner of the food truck and I were like, "Oh, finally, we're done. High five, clap. See you in the morning." So I go home, go to bed. The next day, I get up, and I have a series of problems in the food truck. I'm the first one there before the owner and his wife. I can't open the door because the food truck was not set on a level spot, so the door frame was all jacked up. So I had to climb in through the big screen window. And what do I see? Bunch of oil all over the floor because it sloshed out of the fryer while we were trying to park it. And then covered in the oil all over the floor was our big black electricity cable, which we never plugged back in after we got home. So all of the food that was in the food truck sat in a closed 90-degree box all night.
Mm-hmm.
And
you can't serve that.
No, I was like, all right, I know this is bad. Let's just see how bad it is. So I took my handy thermometer and I temped a bucket of raw scallops that ranked in at 68 degrees. So
You can't eat that.
we had to throw like $600 worth of seafood away.
Oh, no.
And we still got to open that day, and it kind of... I guess I can't say it was a catastrophic failure because the owner was able to go get more seafood from the place he buys it from, and a trip to Walmart got us our other little things. So really, I think it just evened out to like if we just hadn't have been opened all day, it would have been like a day's loss. Like
Yeah.
So
You guys had to do like an 80s movie fundraiser kind of day, basically.
Yeah.
Like save the food truck.
yeah,
Yeah, this is no longer... This is in danger of becoming just a truck.
yeah, just a truck. So other than that, just been doing my weird Misfits thing that I'm working on, and that's it. But what have you been up to, Ben?
Well, I haven't been cursed by God as you have, obviously. So, yeah, I don't know. I read did I mention the R. Crumb Book of Genesis
Yes.
adaptation last week? I finished that. It was
Cool.
great. That book's always good for a reread, good stories in there. Joseph and
Can I send
Joseph
you...
in his Technicolor Dreamcoat.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Can I send you the Emoji Pasta Bible?
Man, I don't think so. I don't need that kind of heresy in my life.
Oh, okay.
You go ahead, send it to me, whatever. Yes, you can send me.
Wow, well now that sounds really appealing.
Yes, it's fine if you would like
I'm
to
just
send
gonna throw next week we're gonna have to debut the Emoji Pasta Bible on the tight shit list.
Yeah, I'm gonna love it.
You're gonna love it.
Did they do the whole Bible?
I believe they started
Because
with
that's a lot.
they
man.
started and I think they completed Genesis.
Okay.
And then I don't know if
that's
it's
one
been
book. That's fine.
Yeah, I don't know if they
If it's like, yeah, they emojied Isaiah, like all 50 chapters. They emojied the Psalms. That's a little too far, but
how far can you take a joke? In 2018, we don't even know what jokes are anymore, so
what is a joke? We obviously don't know on this podcast.
no. Well,
New Father John Misty album came out.
Is that
I don't
any
know
good?
if I've mentioned that on here. It's excellent.
oh good.
Yeah.
That's good because both you and I were a little let down.
Yeah, I was extremely let
By
down
his,
by his last one as a huge fan of his first two.
Yeah.
You were ambivalent about him.
Yeah, I had
until
never heard.
Fantano
Yeah.
dropped his album. What is it? Pure Comedy
Yeah.
as his number one of
Yeah.
2017.
So I checked it out and I was like, this just sounds like Elton John, but not as good.
Yep,
That's-
exactly. And I would say that this one, which is called, I forget,
Okay.
Father John Misty, God's Favorite Customer, is the title of this album. I would say that this one is like Elton John, but as good.
Oh.
Yep.
I'll check it out.
You should check it out. It's absolutely going to be on my year-end list. Speaking of which, we got to do like a mid-year
Yeah, I was
music
actually
check-in at
thinking
some
about
point.
that.
I got to put that on the thing.
We'll do
We're
that. Put that on the list.
Sadly delaying Party Like It's 1999 by
That's
yet
true.
another week, but
You know what else? Not that anyone cares but me, but in the amount, Fantano just gave another 10. And it's only like the third or fourth 10 he's ever given.
what was it for?
The new Kid Cudi and Kanye West collab.
Oh, neat. Okay.
Yeah.
Have you listened to it?
I have not. I don't know if it's only on Tidal. I know that some of Yeezy's stuff is only on Tidal, which
I think it's on Spotify.
I'll have to check. I'll have to check that out before we do our mid-year review.
Yeah.
We'll do that. That's on the docket.
Listen, it's on the list, all right?
Yeah.
I put it on the list. We're going to do here's our upcoming schedule, all
Okay,
right?
tell me.
This is episode 50. Then
Huzzah.
we're doing the first half of Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe.
Yes.
Then music of 2018,
Okay.
then the Grand Buffet.
Ooh, okay.
Yep, Grand
Sick.
Buffet is on the list.
Already forgot about that.
Then Resident Evil Part 1.
Are we doing 4 again?
What?
We're doing Resident Evil 4 again?
No, we're
Oh,
doing the
book.
first
oh,
novel.
fuck. No.
You forgot about that shit, didn't
Are we
you?
starting with book 0?
No, of course not. We're not starting with book 1 of... We're going in publication order for all of this, because it's the only sensible way to do it.
Okay. Did you
We
check the
started with
publication
Resident Evil
order?
0. The publication order of Resident Evil?
Did you check?
Yeah, it starts with 1. Wow. It's the first... I believe it's the first 5, and then 0, and then 6.
That pisses me off for some reason.
Why?
Because it came out after Resident Evil 0.
What, the book?
The book. So it's like you knew that like there's a main game entry that is the story of Resident Evil 0. Why not just start where the story begins?
The first Resident Evil novel did not come out after Resident Evil 0.
It didn't?
No.
Oh.
I think they were right alongside the novels.
No, that's impossible.
Why?
I don't know.
What? Nothing is impossible, Curtis. Why would that be impossible?
That's true. That makes sense.
It is true. I've looked up the public. I've delved very deeply.
Just a fact,
It's just
I don't
a
know
fact.
why
You
you're
can look it
fighting.
up. It's on the
It's just
Wikipedia
factual
page,
knowledge.
Curtis.
Remember when Wikipedia wasn't considered a good resource?
Are you reading me right now? Is
No.
that what's going on?
No.
Yes, I do. It is still not a reason. It's still not a good source today.
Oh, okay. Well,
I don't think you
don't-
you wouldn't want to submit it as a source in a college paper, for instance.
I'm not going against what you're saying.
All right.
I believe you.
No, that's fine. I'm not upset.
Yeah.
You ready to do some superlatives?
I'm so excited.
All right, let's get into this thing.
This was really nice to go back and look at all of the past episodes of B and C till at H.
It's been fun.
And just, you forget about some.
Remember the
50
stuff that I
episodes.
hated?
A lot of episodes, yeah.
Yeah. Remember the stuff that I liked?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to start with a lot of negativity
I think that's good.
and then segue smoothly into positivity as the episode goes by. I think where the natural place to start is biggest drag. What was the thing that you dragged most on?
Well, I don't think this will be much of a surprise to any of our longtime listeners, but
Say it with them, folks.
the David Lynch series, that was hard for me to get through. I think we did it at a particularly depressing time of year as well, which really added to the whole thing. And yeah, that was hard for me. Those movies, about halfway through, I stopped really liking them, and then it was just like 4 episodes of just misery for me.
Mm-hmm.
How about you, Ben?
The Exorcist series.
Yeah.
With one notable exception.
Yeah. Oh God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Exorcist series is like even
Yeah.
it's not good. They're just not good movies. And I truly don't understand what other people see in them.
You know, I don't know, Ben.
And it just kept going and going. And eventually by the end it was like at least these like the Rennie Harlan one.
At this point, I just need to value your opinion. I can't try to argue with you on everything we disagree with on this episode.
It wasn't even a good Rennie Harlan movie. Having seen another Rennie Harlan movie since then.
How many have you seen?
Well, my friend of the show, my wife, introduced me to a little movie called it was like The Coven or The Covenant. I think it was The Covenant.
Yeah.
And as the credits were playing, I saw that sweet, sweet name, Rennie Harlan. And it was like,
I know that name.
this motherfucker. Okay, I know him. That's probably my biggest drag. Other contenders include Stranger Things.
Yeah.
It was a real pain in the ass to have to rewatch that shit show. And,
that one wasn't bad for me.
And Dune.
Yeah.
Dune was tough to finish.
Dune was a hard one.
Yeah.
Because it was just so all over the place. Like, it did have some cool stuff in it, but
The
it was
visuals were amazing.
the fucking...
The shield effect, man.
It was fucking tight.
The shield effect and the pug. The shield effect is going on the tight shit
Damn
list.
it! I just remembered that.
You can agree.
Halfway through that sentence, I was like, oh no. That was like where the tight shit list started.
Yeah, the tight shit list was born from the Dune shield effect, which still holds up, still looks amazing to this day. Fight me.
I have David Lynch to thank for that one. We have him to thank for the tight shit list.
Mm-hmm.
So
All right.
what's next?
What's next? Most contentious.
Oh boy. Okay. So, you want to go first on this one?
Yeah, sure, I will.
Okay.
I feel like most contentious was Mulholland Drive, for me at least.
I would say
That was where I felt we were farthest from each other.
the same thing. There were many contenders for
The
most
Exorcist series, for one.
contentious. Death to Smoochie was
Fuck that
a
movie.
pretty much, yeah. See, I love that movie. That's like a top 20 for me. I put Exorcism 2 because I feel like really that was like similar to the David Lynch thing. Like didn't see eye to eye all the time.
It was like we watched two different movies.
But Exorcism, thank you. Exorcism 2 was just where I could not see where you were coming from. Number 3.
I will defend Exorcist 2
Yeah.
until my dying day.
I also put Pinata as one of our most contentious because not that you didn't hate it.
If Pinata's on there, Road Warrior's got to be on there.
Road Warrior was close to number 1.
Yeah.
If we didn't have such an unexpected effect watching Mulholland Drive, Road Warrior would have been there. Road Warrior and Pinata were kind of tied in the. One of us really, really liked it and just didn't understand. Like, I didn't dislike Road Warrior and you didn't dislike Pinata, which almost makes it harder to understand why the other one doesn't think it's, like, as fantastic as you do.
It's like, this exists.
Yeah.
But
Mulholland Drive definitely had to take the cake on that one.
Yeah. You'll watch it again someday.
I despised it. I think you thought...
Beginning to end.
I was... Like, I think you had to approach, like, maybe Kurt's dumber than I thought he was because he doesn't like this movie.
I don't want to talk about that. But my...
Oh, man.
But my... Let's not cast aspersions. I don't think you're dumb, Curtis. I'm making you read a book later. Of course you're not dumb. You can read.
A fucking children's book. That I've been fighting for 3 months.
The thing with... But do you agree or disagree that my Mulholland Drive theory of Death to Smoochie improves that movie tenfold?
I don't even remember it.
You don't remember?
No.
The theory is that Edward Norton's character from Death to Smoochie is equivalent to Naomi Watts' character from Mulholland Drive. That it's all his big weird dream.
I don't like it. It does make sense.
Because it makes it too much better.
It does make sense, but I don't like it. What do we got? What's next?
Let's do Best Discovery.
Okay.
Best Discovery.
So I think we're pretty much...
This one I have a lot of contenders.
Oh, okay. So, yeah. Well, I'll just throw this out there. My Best Discovery, I had to put as a whole the Texorcism. Mm-hmm. I had never seen almost any of those movies. I'd only seen 2 of the 8 or whatever 9 movies we watched, and that was just a wild ride. Those movies paired up way more well than I ever thought they would. I thought that whole series was going to be the biggest like shit show ever, and it just ruled. Some of the movies didn't, but specifically, Texas Chainsaw 3 was. I if I had to pick one thing that I have discovered through this podcast that I fell in love with, Texas Chainsaw 3.
Yeah, Texas Chainsaw 3 is up there for me too.
Underrated classic.
Yeah, nobody knows about that movie.
Yeah.
It's strange. Except a friend of the show, Nat.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, friend of the show, Nat, wrote a really great column about it.
That's true. Is he a friend of the show?
I've been in touch with him.
It's just not just a guy you know?
He's just a guy I know.
Does he know we have a podcast?
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Let's say yes to that. I'll just throw out a favorite discovery of mine. Probably, well, let's say maybe my absolute favorite discovery. My absolute favorite discovery was Fallout New Vegas.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I had tried to play that game before, and I knew that there was something there, and I just had never gotten into it. But this podcast and your love for that game really... Though I have since come to view your love for that game as...
A little much.
Maybe something a little unhealthy.
Yeah. That's fine.
But I'm just joking. You're fine. Yeah, Fallout New Vegas had much greater depths than I expected it to. And as like I wouldn't call myself a diehard fan of the first 2 Fallouts, but like as a big fan, as a person who really enjoys those games, thinks they're amazing written stories, interactive fiction almost. Fallout New Vegas captured that same feeling, just blown up into a whole 3-dimensional world.
I'm thinking about giving 2 a go. Another I haven't really ever given 2 its fair chance. I do have to jump back because I messed something up. Originally, we had talked about doing a most contentious section and a most controversial, and then we kind of realized they were the same thing. But I did have 2 most controversial podcast moments.
Okay.
One, the number one, probably the worst thing we ever put our listeners through was the weird space you and I were in immediately post David Lynch, and just our weird philosophical tangents that just dominated episodes for like a month. That was just a really weird...
That's good stuff. I can't...
Well, like, our audience doesn't even know what I'm talking about, because I'd be, like, cutting out 30 minutes of podcast, like, for, like, oh, God.
Yeah.
We talked about everything. Dreams, God, life. It just went to some weird, nothing to do with the episode title.
Yeah, no, it's fine. That's
places.
what David Lynch does to you, man.
Yeah,
he opens up doors.
changed.
He opens up doors in your mind that you didn't maybe want opened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the other most controversial moment we've ever had, the fucking Babadook. That was a tense episode.
Yeah.
We had, especially,
Thank goodness we had friend of the show Trevor there
to not
help
agree with
us.
me and back me into a corner. No.
Yeah. Thank you, T.H. Paul.
Yeah.
We gotta have him back on.
We
again.
do have to have him back. But
We've got like 8 good episode ideas with him that we just never do.
That's true.
Let's do it.
We'll have to have him back.
Let's reach out.
We'll reach out. TH, I know you're listening. Show up sometime. It's Wednesday. It's 4:30.
No.
Yeah, all of our listeners are going to show up. Yeah, so I'm sorry to cut you off. I don't know if you were still going to talk about New Vegas.
No, I don't want to get you started. What other
That's fair.
What other best discoveries did you have? Did you have any other contenders? I've got some weird ones.
I didn't write any, but I know that Vince Staples would have been on there, because I had, like, listened to some Vince Staples, but not really listened, and then I think I mostly got more into it because of you, so I was thankful for that. And
to analogize that with the New Vegas thing, my love for Vince Staples is probably a bit unhealthy. So I'm a little bit too obsessed, I would say.
Also, The Last Huzzah, that song has... I've listened to it since the episode.
Yeah.
It's really grown on me. I liked it immediately, but it's really just keeps sinking in more.
Wrap my body in bandages.
I think that's pretty much all I have.
Yeah. All right. I had other than Fallout New Vegas, obviously Texas Chainsaw 3 is now one of my favorite horror movies of all time.
Same.
The Exorcist Part 2. Again, one of the best things, not something that you brought to the table, just something that I kind of stumbled upon in the course of Texorcism month.
What a great time.
Yeah, man, that movie just like rocked my world. That movie is an undeniable masterpiece.
It's just the opposite. That series had the opposite effect on us as the David Lynch one. Those are like the two ends of the spectrum for this podcast.
Yep. Where does the Tarantino series fall in?
Man,
that's the ideal by which all
I was
going to
say
judged.
That's like the one, like when you think something is going to rule and then it rules as much as you thought it was, like as much as you hoped it would.
Yeah,
that was what that is.
Other than that, the Carter 3, wasn't it didn't quite elevate to Fallout New Vegas levels for me, but maybe because I didn't spend almost 50 hours with it. But Lil Wayne in general, the Carter 3 specifically, with the added addendum of the Lil Wayne of the Carter documentary. Oh yeah, along with that was so good. And other than that, and it's kind of weird to think of this one as a discovery, but Kill Bill.
Yeah,
the way I watched Kill Bill totally changed over the course of this podcast series that we did on Tarantino. I think that's fair.
I hadn't thought about that, but that is a very, very real thing.
Like, if I'm thinking about my top 3 Tarantino movies, obviously Kill Bill, Inglourious Bastards, and Pulp Fiction, as loyal listeners will remember. Pulp Fiction has been one of my favorite movies for as long as I can remember. For as long as I've been, like, watching movies. Inglourious Bastards I loved immediately, though I did kind of get an added element of enjoyment to it from watching it this last time. But Kill Bill I would have put solidly like mid to low tier in my coldly compiled list of Tarantino films. But there was so much that I had missed in that movie that I got out of it watching it again for this podcast series. So I would rank that as one of my favorite discoveries. It's just simply the depth of Kill Bill.
I would have to add that on as well. That was even that. I think at the time that was when we started. That was my favorite Tarantino movie, and I left that series with such a richer understanding and appreciation for that film.
I kind of can't wait for Tarantino's career to end.
Yeah.
And then for us to have 20 years without a Tarantino movie so that the Tarantino Renaissance can begin and people can really understand what a magnificent film Kill Bill actually is.
I agree wholeheartedly.
I'll go watch it again tonight.
Me too. I hope we get the Whole Bloody Affair someday, like a real...
I don't want it, man. I don't know if I even want it.
I'm curious. I would watch it. I would love to get the chance to...
What's the difference?
I don't know. I don't know if there would be or if it would be worse. I just want to know what it's like so I can have a preferred cut. That's just...
So you want to Apocalypse Now it.
Yeah, it's just like I'm sure both cuts are great, but it's like when you like something so much and then there's just that loose idea of like, what if there's like a version that's a little bit better? What if you love it this much and it still could be a little bit better?
I think that the heart of the film would be the same.
I agree.
And I don't go in for the preferred cut type stuff as much as you do. So maybe I'll just never see it the way you do. But, okay. Next, fave episode.
Okay.
This is fave episode of the podcast.
I did least fave episodes too.
And I did least fave episode as well. So we've got fave and least fave.
Okay.
I bet our least fave is going to be the same. Well, maybe not.
I don't think it will because my brain kind of went to a weird place with my least fave. Because every episode of the podcast for me has been pretty enjoyable, I think. There was that dark time during the David Lynch and the post David Lynch where it's just like after we'd record sometimes it'd be like, man, that felt weird. Like it was just a weird place. But my biggest thing with my most disappointing episodes always seem to be when we talk about something I really, really love, and I feel like I didn't do a good enough job explaining how much I love it and how great it is. So that's kind of where my...
Okay. Do you want to tell us... Let's do least fave and then fave, because you've kind of set it up.
So, I have a few contenders. Fallout New Vegas... Apocalypse Now, and John Carpenter's The Thing. Those were kind of I love those things so much, I felt like I didn't explain well enough how masterful they are. But those are not my number one choice. My number one choice had to be The Boondock Saints. Oh. Because it made me go back and look at something that I really thought I liked a lot and made me realize that it was not as good as I remembered it and hoped it would be as an adult.
That's like a worse discovery.
Yeah. That really sucked because since high school I have always really liked The Boondock Saints, and then watching it at 28 years old, I was like, I have some serious problems with this movie. I still find the first one enjoyable, but not to talk myself up, but like I can compartmentalize those bad things and like it's a movie, like I think that movie may do some bad things. It might legitimize some bad thoughts in people. So it was sad to find out that I didn't love that movie as much as I hoped. Your least favorite episode?
My least favorite episode. I'm trying to think of something else because of what you just said, but really it's the Christmas Console Buyer's Guide series.
Yeah.
I really just think that was poorly conceived from beginning to end.
Yeah.
And I take my part, I take my lumps. I had responsibility for that.
I think for me, I thought it was a great idea. And I don't even remember how it came about, but I thought it was going to be cool. And then I think halfway through, we both were kind of like, This is weird.
This is dumb.
And then we still had to finish it.
Yeah.
So even I think at the end we were just like, well, that's it. There's no
guess we don't have to do this again.
I think we actually forgot that we were supposed to pick a greatest console, and then at the last episode we were like, oh shit, we're supposed to do that.
Yep. GameCube.
Nintendo GameCube, obviously.
Thanks for listening.
Goodbye.
What about your favorite episode or series or moment?
All right. So I chose single episodes because I wanted... Series was good. If I had to pick series, toss up between Technicism and Tarantino. Mm-hmm. But if I wanted to talk about my favorite episode, I want to think of one episode I could go back and listen to and have a great time. Yeah. So I'm going to give you my top three.
All right.
Number 3, Stranger Things featuring T.H. Paul.
Mm-hmm.
/ I guess in my head, The Babadook, because I forgot that it was 2 episodes because it was one sitting
It was one
that we
session.
aired fucking 8 months apart.
Yeah.
That was a really great episode. Great guest. Also, shout out to Jake the Thriller Noise. Great guest, great friend that kind of was on a not awesome. It was like on our David Lynch wrap up, so it wasn't like a really.
Yeah, but he also refused to rewatch Eraserhead, so part of that underwhelmingness is on him.
True.
Thanks, Jake. Thanks
But
for being on the show.
Shout out to Jake the Thriller Noise. Number 2, the Tarantino wrap up featuring our friend Leia.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus.
Princess Leia, our friend Princess Leia.
I work with a woman named Leia, so I saw her name and I got confused.
Yeah.
Sorry, everybody. Well, let's just shut this fucking thing down.
Shut it down.
I know you're listening, Leah, and I apologize. That was my number 2. Great episode.
I knew Leah for years, and I was never quite sure if it was pronounced Leah or Leia.
Yeah, well, that's good.
And I never bothered to.
I never asked.
Never asked.
Then after a while, it's been too long to ask.
I just kind of tried to avoid saying it, you know?
Yeah. And my number 1, still to this day, my favorite episode. I think I said it like last week, so not a huge shock. But the Tom Waits episode featuring your wife Megan. Mm-hmm. That episode just ruled. And I remember after it was over, I just that is like one of the very few moments where I've finished a podcast and just been like, man, that was fucking sweet. We had some really good conversations about really good music, and just was awesome. That was my favorite episode.
Yeah, I liked that one a lot.
Not your favorite, though.
No.
Oh.
It wasn't my favorite.
Hit me.
My favorite episode is We Do It, We Love It, We Are Not Ashamed. I like that one. Went off the rails. We got some weird conversation in.
Was
but
that one of
I
the
felt
post-David
really,
Lynch ones?
I don't think it was one of the post-David Lynch ones. I gotta look at the timing. I think it was... I'm going to scroll through this real quick.
Because we used to, for a while, we were doing these casual hangout casts.
Yeah, it was definitely a casual hangout cast.
The title implied that.
Yeah, the fact that it wasn't. It was after the Christmas console buyer's guide.
Yeah, okay. Probably also in a weird place.
That makes sense. It was also right before the birth of my child.
Oh.
A couple weeks.
Cool.
Yep.
So.
Okay.
Is that it for superlatives?
I believe that is it for superlatives.
That means it's time.
It's time for the, drumroll please, tight shit list.
The tight shit list.
Yep.
The Ben and Curt approved tight shit list.
Yep.
These are not in any particular order.
Nope.
These are just a series of things that over the course of a year and a half and 50 episodes of podcasting with Ben, we've both realized this is just tight shit.
We've just agreed that we as a podcast can agree that these are tight.
Should we just go back and forth?
Well, you have the whole list.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so maybe you should just read it. This is your project now.
Resident Evil 4.
Love it.
Great game. One of the greatest games ever made.
There's just no getting around it.
Yeah.
There is no getting around it. Its radiance has not been diminished by the years. If anything, its radiance has been emphasized by the years. As video games have taken so much of what Resident Evil 4 did and turned everything into some kind of third-person shooter with horror elements or whatever, Resident Evil 4 has not been surpassed. Not even close.
Nope.
Not even close.
Fallout New Vegas.
Great game.
We already talked about it.
Yep.
Fantastic game.
Yep. Great game. Great story.
My favorite game of all time.
You can play it for 1 million hours if you want, apparently.
Yeah. Apparently that's
well, allegedly. I don't know. I played it once. I'm not really aching to go back. Though I do want to go back and play the DLC. So.
Yeah, you do. I think you'd really enjoy some. Don't get me started, though. I can't do it. I cannot do it today.
Yeah.
Next, we have the films of Quentin Tarantino.
Yep. Lumped all together.
Lumped across. We're not going to pick any favorites.
The man's never made a bad film.
Nope. Straight across the board. Tight shit. Even Jackie Brown.
Even Jackie Brown. Yeah, Jackie Brown probably is my least favorite. But even Jackie Brown is a great film.
Agreed. Next, Vince Staples.
Mm-hmm.
Sick rapper. Tight
Great
shit.
rapper.
Hasn't put out a bad release.
No, yeah, he's approaching the top of the game.
Yep.
Doing something that nobody else is really doing.
I fell in love with him as a person when I watched him on Hot Ones because he's just one of the coolest people they've ever interviewed on there.
Oh yeah, he's incredible. The aura that he has about him is so cool.
Also, his AMA on Reddit was one of the funniest things I've ever read.
His AMA is excellent.
Just did not want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Publicist is making me do this.
Yep.
Yeah.
Lil Wayne.
Yep.
Hey.
This is the hip hop section.
Yeah, this is the hip hop section of the show. Lil Wayne would tell you he's the greatest rapper alive. I think there's a strong argument that he is.
Yeah. Yeah, he's one of the greatest rappers of all time. Definitely. He's legendary.
Agreed.
And the documentary about him is fantastic. I hope that the Carter 5 is released from legal limbo someday.
Me too. Or it leaks. Did you hear about the one copy that leaked?
No.
So you know how Lil Wayne's a psycho and he only listens to his own music?
Yep.
Somebody bought a car from Lil Wayne.
Oh, you told me about
had
this.
A burned copy of the Carter 5 in it.
Yeah. What did they do with it?
They I believe, don't hold me to this. I believe he was told he was able to keep it, but if it ever leaks, they're going to know it was him because it's been kept under lock and key for so long.
Right.
And he will lose a bunch of money and go to jail if it ever leaks.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, man. I love Lil Wayne.
Me
I
too.
love that Lil Wayne only listens to his own music.
That's so weird.
I don't think it makes him weird or a psycho. I think it makes him a true artist.
I think it makes him weird and a psycho.
I think it makes him a weird psycho. What's wrong with listening? We had this discussion already, but what's wrong with listening to your own music?
There's nothing wrong with listening to your own music. Well, it's a little weird to listen to your own music. You have to listen to it in a different way, I think. But it's not that he listens to his own music. It's that he only listens to his own music. That's weird.
Nothing else is worth listening to. For him.
Yeah, that's what's weird. That's what's
weird
about it.
Why is that weird?
Because plenty of other things are worth listening to.
I could easily make a case for Lil Wayne being the only rapper worth listening to.
We will have to do that someday. Everything on the tight shit list, I guarantee you, is going to get another episode.
Especially if your name is Lil Wayne.
Yeah.
Why should listen to the shit that he's doing? Why should he be interested in what anybody else is doing? He's doing it all himself. Right? Like if I fully endorse Lil Wayne only listening to Lil Wayne's old music because it's going to make him more and more Lil Wayne as time goes by. Did you hear his song on Flower Boy, the Tyler the Creator album?
I don't remember.
It's incredible. It's one of the best songs on the whole album. It's like a minute and a half long. It's just one free-flowing stream of consciousness verse from Lil Wayne. And if he just keeps doing that, he may produce the best rap album that's possible for a human mind to produce someday. We should be so lucky to live in that timeline. If he doesn't die of scissor poisoning first.
Yeah, he does have a lot of seizures.
Lil Wayne only listens to his own music and this podcast.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us, Wheezy. Next, the David Lynch film Eraserhead.
Yep.
Just a fucking amazing movie.
That one's great. I think about it often. You know what weirdly is the thing that I think about most often from that movie?
What's that?
The part at the beginning of the climactic dream sequence where, what's his name? Henry Spencer. Henry Spencer is sitting and he's just pinching his pant leg and then smoothing it out.
Yeah.
And then he pinches it and he smooths it out. I think about that all the time. It's such a strange moment, but I find myself doing things that are like that. Like, never that, but things that are just like that. And it's always in a mindless moment where I'm trying to avoid thinking about something else, which is very appropriate for where it's placed in Eraserhead.
I think I saw a bumper sticker on the internet that I absolutely plan on buying because it was only like $6. There are real bumper stickers you can buy that say, Eraserhead baby is my co-pilot. And I fucking need one.
Oh, man.
But yeah, just the part that I think about in Eraserhead the most easily is the beginning where he's just like walking through this wasteland, kind of up over these little dirt hills, and the funny elevator joke. Like, there's just such a great job at just
the way those elevator doors open, like a collage.
It just sets the mood for this weird setting of a film of an experience you're about to have that you don't even know you're about to have.
It's weird, but it's not weird because it's trying to be far away from everything else. It's weird because it's so singular and so specific and clear in what it's trying to communicate. It's so clear that people that people misappropriate its clarity as obfuscation. Fascinating film. Really, truly fascinating film. One of the best movies we've done on this podcast.
I can agree with that. Next is the Planet of the Apes reboot trilogy.
This is a little bit of a left field choice. I put this on the list.
Yeah, I forgot about it, but I have absolutely loved each one of those movies. Mm-hmm. I'll probably watch that tonight instead of watching... What did I say I was going to watch?
I think you said you were going to watch Dune.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, God, those movies are fantastic.
Yeah, what is it? It's Rise of the Planet of the Apes, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, and War for the Planet of the Apes. And just as a trilogy, like tracking the kind of fall of the human race and the rise of the apes. Dumb way to say that, but fine.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Tight.
There's nothing else quite like it.
Nothing.
I think it's another one of those movies that call me Nostradamus, but like the Quentin Tarantino Renaissance that I see coming down the pike. What did I just say?
It's
that
fine.
I see coming down the highway. I see those movies getting reviewed at some point favorably.
I'll always enjoy a fourth one. I know they've talked about it.
I don't want a fourth one.
I mean,
man. Of course they were successful. Whatever.
Yeah,
Matt Reeves.
I like the original one
it.
because there's like 5 of them.
Yeah.
It feels like a big deal.
There's a lot to catalog. No, I don't want any more of those movies. That story's done. The story of Caesar is done.
Yeah,
and it's the story of Moses as well. He leads his people out of bondage.
So, but I mean, like, how can it be done? Because the greatest Planet of the Apes movie is the one that hasn't taken place in the reboot yet. The first one.
I feel like they already... So you're saying that they should... Well, no, the Tim Burton remake is the next Planet of the Apes reboot movie.
Oh, God.
The Tim Burton remake of the first one. Is that what you're suggesting? Is that the timelines need to collide?
Not with the Tim Burton one. Fuck that.
You're saying that we need another remake of the original.
I would, if they handle it as well. I personally like that the reboot trilogy can turn into the original anthology or whatever you want to call it.
But I don't want it to turn into it. I want it's an accompaniment.
If they did it as well as they did the first 3, I would love a remake.
I guess they told their story already.
Yeah, so
right?
Tell another one.
That's
what we do. Just keep telling stories.
What would they do to improve upon the original Planet of the Apes?
I don't know. I didn't see the reboots being as successful and telling as good of a story, but they found a way to do it.
But you can see the potential for that story from the original Planet of the Apes movie with all the talk about Caesar. Right?
Yeah.
Am I making that up?
No,
those hooks were already in there. I just don't see how they could do anything good by returning to this well. I don't know.
I hope they surprise me.
I don't know.
I hope they do it. Maybe they'll even put 3 more. They'll Star Wars it.
No, man. Great. Let's Star Wars it. Let's drive this fucking train right into the ground.
Yes.
That's what we need. More Star Wars style films.
We don't deserve good things, Ben.
No, we deserve
things.
Endless cash-ins.
Yes.
Let it lie. Just let it lie. Cut the franchise off. Let it lie where it is. It's a perfect little story the way it is.
That's true. Next on the list.
Yeah.
Animal Crossing.
This is now one of our most contentious episodes, by the way. That discussion in particular.
Yeah.
You know what's not contentious at all? Animal Crossing.
Oh, man. What a great game. One of the best games ever made.
Yeah. Yeah, easily.
Just fantastic.
Easily. Absolutely singular. And I'm not talking about any of this New Leaf bullshit. Talking about GameCube Animal Crossing.
New Leaf is just as good.
If your Animal Crossing game does not have discrete square screens viewed from a direct above the character angle that you have to physically transition between the screens, I'm not interested.
I don't
want to
even
play
know
it.
what you just said.
Well, you know how... So in the newer Animal Crossing games, when you're running around...
Oh, yeah.
It's just smooth.
It's seamless. The acres, there aren't acres.
Anchors, yes. Let's call them anchors. Yeah. I need the anchors.
I like it both ways. I think there are pros and cons to each side of that.
I'm making a decisive statement. I am decisively against this New Leaf bullshit.
Whoa.
All right.
I hope we get our Switch version soon.
Lord, still waiting for that sign. All right. No, here's the thing. It won't. I'm tightening it down. Lord, I know you're listening.
Mm-hmm. The only one who ever has been listening.
He really is. He's in here with us. Lord, I know that the sign that I'm waiting for is the announcement of a new Animal Crossing game on the Nintendo Switch. For you to tell me, that's how you're going to tell me that I should buy a Nintendo Switch with the money that you have granted me in my life. The only way I'm taking it as a sign from you, though, is if it has anchor points for the camera. The only way I will buy a Nintendo Switch for this new Animal Crossing game that will come out eventually, it's just a matter of time. The only way I will buy a Switch for it is if the new Animal Crossing game has camera anchor points. Otherwise,
you're really setting yourself up for failure there.
What kind of failure? What do you mean?
You'll never buy a Switch because
that doesn't feel like failure. The only failure would be to not take the Lord's sign as it came.
I don't know. I don't think you're. I mean, I wouldn't.
How am I supposed to read the map if it doesn't have squares on it, Curtis? That's what I'm asking you. How am I supposed to know where anything is? How am I supposed to remember?
What?
The Animal Crossing game that I need is the map is divided up into squares. It's a grid system. All right.
Yeah.
Where's the shop? A2. Boom. There I am.
But you don't really need that anymore, because
Don't tell me what I don't need.
In most games now you can see, like the 3DS has the two screens, so your map is just always there. Right?
I don't want to run around staring at the map. I want to memorize the location on the grid, and then I want to know, I need to go 2 anchor points left. Thank you for that terminology, by the way. I need to go 2
That's
anchor
not even
points.
what I said, but it made sense.
Whatever. I need to go 2 anchors west.
I said acre when I said that.
Acres.
The acres are separated in squares.
Oh, this is embarrassing.
But it made sense, so I was like,
No, they are acres.
Yeah,
they are acres, right. I need to go 2 acres west, and then 3 acres north to get to the shop. All right? How am I supposed to... How's that navigation going to work? Just sitting here...
played any of the newer
I'm just
ones?
sitting here staring at a friggin' screen. I'm not even looking at the game screen.
You're
I'm
like
just
the
looking
guy
at the
who's
map
trying to
screen.
argue that cassettes are the best. No.
Listen. The warmth of tone that you get from vinyl is indisputably, technically, and objectively superior to this digital CD bullshit.
Jake the Thriller Noise is rolling over in his grave right now. Anyway.
Thank you all for listening to this.
Yeah,
What's next on the tight shit list?
Tom Waits. Truly a tight shit.
Truly
artist.
something I will not be able to find anything contentious about.
No. Tom Waits is
pure tight shit.
Pure tight shit.
Yep. And again, that episode that we did about Tom Waits is one of the best episodes we've ever done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next is Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We talked
I'm
about
feeling
it.
good again. My mood is improving as we name these things.
Yeah, we talked about it. Just a fantastic film. Underrated.
I really want to rewatch that.
You feel like it's one of those things that, because it's so unknown and underrated, you feel like, it feels like it's yours a little bit. You have kind of a special connection to it.
It's unique.
Yeah, maybe we'll have the same thing when we do our Puppet Master series.
I feel like a lot of people point to Scream as the first kind of postmodern self-referential slasher film. Mm-hmm. And it has a good claim to that, and it is a great movie. But I think that Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3 Leatherface actually edges it out a little bit.
Yeah, it's the proto.
It's the proto Scream. Yeah, it was the first movie to take this slasher genre and say, like, there's something inherently ridiculous about this, and it's worth making fun of. It's worth making fun of in a whole film. But not only that, they go the extra mile of actually making the next Texas Chainsaw Massacre film, which was itself the progenitor. The first Texas film was the progenitor of the entire slasher genre, and in some sense, discounting a film like Halloween, which really invented most of the actual tropes used in the rest of them. I'm way off in the weeds on this.
No,
my point is that it's super cool that the first meta slasher film is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3.
I think that is definitely I would, to go back to what you said, I think Texas Chainsaw is like definitely the prototype, the absolute godfather of the slasher, and I think Halloween is the first perfected, set the standard for what that would be.
Right. Texas Chainsaw Massacre pointed the way towards what Halloween would eventually lead us to.
Yes. And finally, the last thing we are debuting on the tight shit list today, Apocalypse Now.
Mm-hmm.
Still felt disappointed with that episode because I just felt like I was unable to express how fucking great that movie is. There are some great film analyses on YouTube of that film that just point out all kind, almost too far. I don't know, have you ever seen the Room whatever, the documentary about The Shining?
Yeah, Room something. I can't remember what it's called. Room 213?
Something like that.
Don't they add up to 13?
I don't know. It's just a bunch of just like schizophrenics rambling. That's what that whole documentary about things that just don't make any sense.
Well, I disagree.
Okay.
I think that documentary points out something really fascinating about film, about a really complex film like The Shining.
Please don't ever make me do The Shining.
You don't like The Shining?
I don't love The Shining.
That's okay. You don't seem like a Kubrick guy.
I guess I can't say I am. Full Metal Jacket's really good.
Yep.
What else did he do? I probably haven't seen most of his movies.
Eyes Wide Shut.
Never seen it.
Excellent. What else did he do? Lolita.
Never seen it.
Doctor Strangelove.
Never seen it.
Really?
Yeah, weird, right?
Oh, man.
We're going to do a Kubrick series?
Oh, jeez. I'll pick my 5 favorite Kubrick films. We'll do them.
Okay. Yeah. I love Apocalypse Now. What a great movie. I didn't get it the first time I watched it. Mm-hmm. And then I watched it preparing for our podcast episode, and I just totally got it.
Yeah.
And then I watched like some supplemental material, Hearts of Darkness and the aforementioned YouTube movie reviews, and just so on board.
Yep.
So many little details that make that movie just perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Kilgore.
Yeah.
Who can forget Kilgore?
Kilgore.
Yeah.
How fat? That's pretty dope.
Mm-hmm.
That's fucking clever. Yeah.
All right.
Well, that was a tight shit list.
Thank you.
Thank
for
you,
reading
listeners.
that out. Thank you, listeners. If there's anything that you think should have been on the tight shit list that wasn't, go ahead and let us know.
Remind us if you
We
hate any of our choices. If you have any favorite Ben and Curt Till It Hurts moments you want to share with the class, if you want to tell us the episode in which Ben and I were the most insufferable,
It was this one.
It was probably when I consistently brought up Fallout New Vegas for weeks at a time, and that was all I wanted to talk about.
It's just the Fallout New Vegas corner.
Yeah.
Like, that's okay to have a corner. I had a Nier Automata corner for a while.
Yeah. I really hope that the listeners of this show actually just love Fallout New Vegas, and that's why they listen, because they know I can't not talk about it.
They know that it's going to keep coming up.
And
Someday this Fallout New Vegas segment will end.
They're pissed when I don't talk about it. That's what I hope. But anyway.
How's your run going?
I haven't really been playing it. I've been pretty busy, and most of my free time I've been really soaking up those Misfits jams.
Oh, yeah.
So, been super into that.
Cool.
Yeah. So should we wrap this up? We're right about that time.
Let's wrap it up. Have you had any good dreams?
You know what? This is disappointing. I had a fucking weird dream the other day, and I woke up, and I was like, that was a really weird dream, and then I instantly fell right back to sleep and do not remember any of it.
Man, it stinks when that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've just had work stress dreams.
Yeah?
Yeah, again.
Did your year get any less stressful during the summer, or is it pretty consistently?
We do a 4-day week during the summer.
Yeah.
But the kids don't like that very much.
Oh, so...
And we go on a lot of outings, so it kind of... It depends.
Yeah.
It's a different kind of stress.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to leave. You guys can stay if you want, but...
Just hit play again. It'll start over from the beginning.
Just go back to the first episode and just listen to the... We're taking the next 50 weeks off. So just do it all over again.
Yeah, we're going to re-upload them in reverse order.
Ooh, we're going to do the... Oh, there was a joke there and I ruined it. The Kendrick Lamar.
Yep, this is going to be This is going to be the BNC Till It H special edition.
Yep. So, you know where to find us. iTunes, Stitcher, Black Gold Podcast.
rate and review us.
Yeah.
And like us.
Yeah.
Please
Follow
like
us on Twitter at Ben_and_Kurt.
I'll probably update that with some Animal Crossing stuff later.
Yeah. Listen to the show on YouTube.
Thinking about it now. Yep.
Check cross-platform.
Mm-hmm.
Give us those views. What else? You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at KurtCake5K. I'm working on that Misfit stuff. I promise that'll be done at some point, and you guys should check it out to stroke my ego.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to do it.
All right. Thanks for listening, everybody.
See, we'll do this again in 50 more episodes.
Bye. Wait. Oh.
That's fine. Your mic's still on.
Oh, we forgot to talk about what we're doing next week, except at the beginning.
So next week,
we're reading a book.
We're reading a book.
We're starting off our second semi-centennial segment.
Sure.
By talking about a novel for children.
You know what? I don't like it.
Everybody.
We're just gonna, you
don't get too excited.
We're gonna try.
Not jumping right into Gabriel Garcia Marquez here or nothing. We're reading a novel for children.
That person's name is a novel. Oh.
Uh-oh. We're talking about The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Yeah.
The great children's fantasy novel by C.S. Lewis.
Third greatest children's children's fantasy novel of all time.
Have you read it?
Ranked only behind The Wizard of Oz and the Harry Potter franchise series. Whatever it's not a franchise if it's
According to who?
Me and the internet.
Have you read The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
I've read the number 0 and the first one.
Number 0. You're getting them mixed up with the Resident Evil books, Curtis.
No,
Come on.
There's a prequel.
It's not a number 0 though. I don't think.
It takes place before the first one.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
I think in my book, my compendium,
they call it number 0.
I think it's first.
It is first. Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it? The Magician's Nephew.
Yeah, that was really good. I really like that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good. We'll get to it eventually.
2 years.
We're reading them in publication order. Thank you very much. Because, frankly, I believe that The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe is the only proper introduction to the world of Narnia.
That's fine. That's fair.
Yeah, it's the one that exposes it in the way that it ought to be exposed to you as a story.
Okay.
The Magician's Nephew throws you a lot of details about world building.
Okay.
Which is not really what you want at the beginning of your series.
That's true.
As a fantasy aficionado.
As a person who's watched the film Dune.
Yeah.
You don't always need all that
Narnia,
info.
a.k.a. the desert planet.
a.k.a.
Arrakis.
A.k.a. Dune.
Dune.
So, yeah.
Yeah, we're reading the first 9 chapters of that book for next week's episode.
We'll see you next week.
See ya.